Good morning, students. So for Tuesday, September 8th, we are starting our day with math, and what we're doing for page 12 is actually just a review. So here for the directions, it says to use what you have learned to solve the following problems. So we are continuing to multiply by 1 digit and by 2 digits. So what I would do is encourage you to go back to the previous video for Thursday and take a look at how we did our multiplication for page 11, because it is just a review of the same content. And tomorrow you will also be doing a similar assignment, which I sent over through email, a worksheet that is just continuing practicing multiplication before we go on to division. So on Thursday, I went over a little bit of multiplication through Zoom for the students that needed it. So if you need any additional help with multiplying by 1 digit or 2 digits, please join the Zoom meeting today at 11. So here for language arts for Tuesday, we are continuing practicing the principal parts of verbs. So what you're going to do for numbers 1 through 11 is you're going to decide whether the underlined verbs or verb phrases are in the present time. So you would put PR, PR.P for present participle, P for past, and double P for past participle. Now, this may seem a little bit hard, so I encourage you to go back to page 20, because on Thursday we practiced the different verb forms. So just for example, the present form of study is study. The present participle form is studying, like I am studying. The past would be studied, like yesterday I studied. And the past participle is also studied, like I have studied. I have studied before. So you're doing the very same thing, except it's already written down for you on page 21. So what you're going to do is anytime you see two together, usually it's a past participle because it's talking about what you had done or have done. And then usually if the word is talking about the past, like you did it before, then you would just put past, P. If you're talking about something that you're doing right now and the word ends in ing, that is often a hint that it is a present participle. So I'm putting a little hint here. PR.P words almost always end in ing. So keep that in mind. And then PR for present means you're doing it right now, but it doesn't end in ing. So those are just a few hints. Of course, if you need more help, you can come to Zoom and I can help you, but I definitely encourage you to go back to page 19 and 20 if you're still having a hard time deciding what kind of verbs these are. So when you're done with number 1 through 11, you're going down to write C, where you're going to show that you understand the verb forms. So for the directions, it says the following sentences all have the wrong verb forms. Show your understanding of verb forms by rewriting each sentence to make the verb correct. Note: do not add or remove helping verbs. Okay, so what you're going to do is read these sentences out loud, and you will notice that they don't make sense. So what you're going to do is then rewrite them to make sense. So for number 1, let's do this one together. It says, Brad done his work well. That's not how you should say it. So think for a moment. If you're talking about Brad doing his work well, but he did it in the past, what should you do? So remember, we're not adding or removing helping verbs. So we don't want to add a helping verb here. We want to change it. So we wouldn't say Brad done his work well. We would say Brad did his work well. So then you would write here, make sure you capitalize the beginning of your sentence. And a period. So you're going to read the rest of these sentences out loud and correct them. And then here is just a reminder. The present participle and the past participle always need helping verbs. The present and past forms do not. So that's just another hint. Usually when you see a phrase that has a helping verb, it's going to be past participle or present participle. Now the good news is for this week, we're only doing one page of language arts a day, since these verb lessons can be a little bit challenging. So you only have page 21 to do today. Tomorrow we will go on with page 22. And here we have our new spelling list for this week, and it's perfect for our 4-day week since we have 4 assignments. And remember to log into Spelling City to continue practicing your words. So I'm going to review our pattern words, content words, and vocabulary words, and then briefly explain how to complete our page 9 pattern words lesson. So here's the pronunciation for our new words. We have alley, shield, belief, salary, relieve, money, neither, achieve, territory, received, volleyball, assembly, cavern, sinkhole, columns, chamber, limestone, stalactites, stalagmites, dissect, section, contact, intact. And you can go back and review them again if you had a hard time understanding the pronunciation. So here we're doing our pattern words assignment, and it says to complete the exercises sorting the long E verbs. And this exercise is pretty simple because you're just going to match the combination of the word blends. So all the words that have EI next to them go in numbers 1 and 2. Numbers 3 and 5 have words that have EY in them together. 6 through 9, IE, and 10 through 12, words that have Y that sound like a long E. That means an E sound, not an I sound. Then, for content words, as usual, we're going to use the first letter as a hint to help us fill in using these words. However, since some of these have the same letter, you may confuse them. So number 1 rule is to go to the back of the book in the glossary and look up these words. You will need to be able to get these correct. There are a lot of S words and a lot of C words. Once you look these up, the assignments for today and tomorrow will become much easier. So, if you're having a hard time, I promise that looking in the back of the book in the dictionary, or as we call the glossary of the book, you will find the exact definition you need to be able to fill this in correctly.